Good afternoon, folks. Welcome on this beautiful Sunday afternoon stream. It's I was speaking to my mum earlier today, and she's like, "Oh, I heard it's nice weather in London." And it's like, yeah, it's a Met red alert warning for nice weather. Please stay indoors. Nice weather. Stay indoors. Stay indoors. Do not go outside with nice weather. I got a bit of a cold drink here. Ready for an afternoon of some fun streaming. Wasteland 2. We just got back, or not back, got to the Ranger Citadel for the first time, so we're still exploring. We're still exploring the lore that all the different people in there has to offer. Also, let me just set the timer for taking breaks. It's going to be a bit of a longer stream because I started earlier. Make sure to take breaks. What? Helpful to carry spare weapons and yours get stolen by enemies? What? Hold on. 456, 44. That's the one we just loaded, right? Let's load that again. I thought I was already in the base. This is the starting scene of that. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I might have accidentally misloaded the wrong one. So we spoke to this guy. He offers ammunition stuff. Gently, gently. Locked. So if it's hampered by what sounds like a vindictively stillborn lock. We'll get there later. This guy, Fire Grenadier Richard Delio, Rangers. Okay, so workshop, water source, supply, ranger, storage locker, radio room, exit. Like a museum as well that we haven't found it. Museum, there we go. Corporal Flintlock Eggleston. Seems like it was only yesterday. Ancient and balding, with his ranger fatigues hanging baggy on his skinny frame, he wears his long grey hair pulled back in a tight ponytail and his bifocals teeter on the tip of his nose. What a choice to have to make. Well, I'm glad he saved Ag Center. Nothing like I like better than the rutabagas. Now, what can old Flintlock do for you today? What do you think of General Vargas? He's a good kid, Vargas. Helped us save the world from Finster and Base Cochise' robot army back in the bad old days, and he's been keeping us safe and strong ever since. Love him like my own son. What was Base Cochise? Back before the apocalypse, it was a military facility just like this one, only Cochise was a robot research center. Then somehow, about 15 years back, its mainframe had some kind of glitch, and it started thinking that humans were the enemy. Can you believe it? The damn thing started pooping out killer robots and sending them off to kill all and sundry. Well, the Rangers had to put a stop to that, didn't they? And so we did. Blew the damn place to Kingdom Come, ain't seen a robot since. Who was Finster? Didn't she his head in the museum? Crazy scientist type, wanted to kill everybody and replace him with mutants, started making plagues to wipe us all out. Thank God Vargas and Angie and Thrash and Hellraiser put him down like the mad dog you will. Is there anything we can help you with? Well, as a matter of fact, I could use your help. The museum is always looking for interesting relics and artifacts from the past to add to our collection. Recovering that kind of stuff was the best thing the crazies who lived here before ever did. Trouble was, all they wanted was to hide it away. We want to show it to people, let them cogitate on it, maybe figure out what some of it does. So listen, if you ever come upon anything interesting while you're on patrol, bring it on back and I'll trade you for what you found. And I won't give you no junk neither. I'll set you up with something good. Oh, we found Ace's Ranger Star. It deserves a spot in the museum. That's damn sad. You're truly fortunate you found it, children. I'll add it to the collection. Ooh. It'll help remind us of the sacrifices the desert rangers sometimes have to make to keep the wasteland safe. Thank you, rangers. We found another blood staff. Maybe this is the real one? I doubt that highly. A ranger team that took it off the corpse of the blood priest up in Needles, and that was after they used it on a machine that verified that it's the real deal. Would you be willing to donate the fake? It'd be useful for instructing our new recruits not to get caught up in the excitement over. Yeah, have the blood staff. Thanks, Eka. I'll look this over and see if I can learn anything that will help us understand the real thing. How did you get the name of Flintlock? The fellas all joked that I'd been around so long that the standard issue for a ranger back in my day was a flintlock and a coon skin cap. And well, they ain't far wrong. I got boots older than General Vargas' daddy. Can you call us children? Yeah, everybody's a kid to me. I'm older than dirt. And you're just back from your first patrol, ain't you? Well then, guess I can call you what I want. Okay. Adios, children. Howdy, children. Thanks for stopping by. Dismiss companions. Ooh. You can remove an unneeded or troublesome CNPC from your squad by using a dismiss option on the inventory screen. A dismissed CNPC will leave the area and return to your ranger headquarters. Dismissed CNPCs will wait for you there until you return and recruit them again. Just speak with them. You can only bring a maximum of 7 squad members with you at a time. Okay. So that might be the reason why we might want to not take everybody with us. Hold on. Do we have a few other stuff we wanted to sell? Let's check. Matt Forrestal's one? Small square piece of plastic colored blue, orange and white. There are raised letters and numbered embossed on it. Most of the numbers have rubbed off, but you can just make out the letters H Crusher-esque. Ah, so this is the museum where we can check everything. What is this? Gilbert Thrasher Cigar. Saving Accenter was a sensible thing to do, though I might have gone to high pool. They are more in danger turning away from they are more in danger of turning away from the rangers. Never mind, they all dead. If that was Blythe, this must have been Parker, which makes this so this is the map guy. There's no getting around it. Despite the bathrobe and slippers and the high-tech artificial leg, this guy is intimidating. Fat, yes, but there's a lot of muscle under all that padding, and he's 6 if he's an inch. Also his fists are the size of canned hams. Yeah, I know. You're the new recruits, heroes of Accenter, etc. Well, I don't do the tour. Flintlock does the tour. I just do maps. So unless you've got questions about maps, talk to him. Thanks. What's so interesting about maps? Keeping accurate maps is an important part of a ranger's job. Knowing locations and distances to towns, oases and resources keeps our communities alive. You also need to put new places on the map when you find them. Catalog who lives there and if they're a threat. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll be getting back to it. So, we should keep an eye out for new places. We are always looking to expand our knowledge of the world. Write down all the places you visit on your travels, and when you come back to the base, I'll reward you for any place we don't already have on our maps. The more, the better. Oases are important. There aren't many places to find drinkable water out in the desert, so try to keep the maps current about which are pure and which have run dry. And no, I'm not giving you a map. Part of becoming a ranger is finding water for yourself. We had to do it in my day. You'll do it in yours. Do you and Flintlock get along? This incessant chatter can be wearing, but I'm glad he's here. They act as a shield for the idiots who would otherwise bother me. There's a tour. Every time Vargas brings new recruits to the Citadel, they always want us to show them around the museum. Well, I don't have time for it. You never pay any attention anyway. Where do you get that cool artificial leg? If you ask about it again, I'll tear it off and beat you with it. Come on, what if one of us loses a limb? You're going to keep a fix like this to yourself? Right, you're right. I'm being selfish. I got it from a woman named Dr. Kyle. Don't know where she came from, but she did excellent work. It's not for the squeamish though. The new leg is fine, works like a charm, but it's powered by a fuel cell that's implanted in the chest. Kinda freaks me out, to be honest. What's freaky about it? It's like a blue gem set into my breaststone. First few nights I had the glow kept me awake. It just feels unnatural. Where is Darwin's village? Darwin, not Darwin's. Darwin doesn't own it. Well, nobody does, since the radiation overwhelmed it. It's abandoned. I'll mark the spot it used to be on your map. Darwin village. Enjoy the hike. How do you feel about Vargas? That's General Vargas to you, a wild man back when we patrolled together. Now he's too cautious for his own good, or the Rangers. So you're proud to be a Ranger? If the Rangers didn't exist, I would have joined some scavenger gang and been dead before I was 30. I may have lost a leg in my service here, but I found my mind. I call that a bargain, the best I ever had. I didn't mean too cautious. Lost a lot of men taking this place, and I understand him wanting to regroup and rebuild, but it's been 15 years. While we've been sitting here guarding our little patch, the weeds have been growing beyond our borders, and every year we let them go. They're going to be harder to cut back when the time comes. Weeds? Raiders, militias, mutant animals, mad scientists, cults. We keep our own backyard clean, but beyond it, the wasteland is worse than it ever was. And there are places out there that haven't been updated on my maps since we got here. What are our borders? Look at this map. This is Ranger Citadel. Our territory stretches from Rail Nomads here in the north, the Axe Center in the south, and Hypel in the east. That's it. Everything outside that triangle has become terra incognita. Our influence is shrinking when it should be expanding. You know about Hypel? Well, it was a reservoir and water treatment plant. We got our water from them in exchange for patrolling up there, until you let it die, that is. What do you know about Axe Center? It's an old pre-war research facility that got turned into a farm. Now it's a research facility again. A bunch of science types up there trying to figure out ways to grow more and better crops in the wasteland. We get most of our food from them. Good thing you saved it. Tell me about Rail Nomads. A little town built up out of rail cars, always fighting amongst themselves, but they don't generally bother anybody else. Bit of a drug problem though. I wish they would end their conflict. Every time one of them gets the upper hand, I have to change my maps. Goodbye, Sagara. Back to work. These maps aren't going to draw themselves.
Hey now, Thrash.
And you. She's hanging out with the kids. Okay, what do we have? Though the shelf is mostly full of charts, maps, and topographical surveys that may as well be in Venusian, a few interesting titles to count. Ooh, History of the Desert Rangers, Intelligence Report Part 1. Ooh. Can I read a bit of this? Intelligence Report Part 1. Investigation into the occurrence of robots in the Las Vegas sewers by Ranger Ann Elk. Brief. This investigation was ordered by General Vargas on February 12, 2099 to determine the source of the robots discovered in the sewers under Las Vegas and to calculate the likelihood of such a threat arising here again. Background. In 2087, General Vargas, then Ranger Vargas, and his fellow Rangers entered the sewers under Las Vegas, gaining access by following Ferran Brigo's instructions to go through the Temple of the Servants of the Mushroom Clouds. Temple of the Servants of the Mushroom Clouds. Using a sonic key to open the door to the sewers. Considering how difficult it was to get into the sewers, it was reasonable to expect to find the place abandoned. Instead, the Rangers encountered heavy resistance from several forms of robots. The place was crawling with them from wall to wall, as the General puts it. But perhaps more striking than the sheer amount of synthetics was their unique, often puzzling nature. Semi-intelligent cyborgs wielding firearms were the most normal, but others were much stranger. From scouring the sewers for remains and interviewing the surviving Rangers and eyewitnesses, we've discovered numerous distinct types, names generally as used by the Rangers themselves. Clawman or Claw, close combat cyborgs attacking with their bare hands. Centaurs made of a meld of metal and flesh that were capable of galloping at high speeds. Cyclone, cybernetic wolves, recognizable by their wolf-like howls that, when sustained, decayed into static hissing. Tronosaurus, gigantic metallic reptile. Boa Tronvictor, cybernetic giant snake. Note, as no remains of this creature could be found and the Rangers only encountered them in the darkness, their exact nature could not be ascertained. Tronodile, mechanical crocodiles? Query. What purpose could mechanical aquatic lifeforms have in the desert? Dazel, a nightmare of metal, vaguely scorpion-like but really not like any creature we know, capable of shooting metal spikes from its tail. Cybertrike, cybernetic melds of man-like forms and motorcycles, known for the roar of their engines. Exborg, squat 6-armed cyborgs, could use multiple weapons at the same time, surprisingly intelligent and adaptive. Query. If recovered and restored, could turn out to be quite handy. Okay. History of the Desert Rangers, Part 3. By Ranger Simak, holding back the tide. Though the Desert Rangers never gained the numbers to patrol the waste in their entirety, it is thanks to their efforts in the century that followed that many communities in the Wasteland flourished. They helped protect the community of Hypool until it could rebuild the pre-war defenses that now make it the most well-protected source of water in the waste. The Rangers helped the Rail Nomads repair their trains and expand their rail lines, allowing them to establish a thriving trading and transportation network. They also helped the residents of the agricultural center go from a tiny farming community to a food research facility that has the potential to lead the Wasteland into a greener, healthier future. But despite their various successes, there was always a sense that the Rangers were doing little more than holding back the tide, and that, were they to relax for but a moment, the raiders and madmen who lived on the fringes of Ranger territory would flood in and drown the young civilization before it had time to grow and stand on its own 2 feet. And then, almost a full century after the end of the war in 2087, a new threat arose that threatened the tenuous equilibrium more than any danger the Desert Rangers had faced before. Part 6. From Guardian Citadel to Ranger Citadel. In the 15 years since, the Desert Rangers have moved their headquarters from the old prison facilities that had served them for a century to the larger and more secure Guardian Citadel. Initially there was some thought given to keeping the prison staffed and returning to its original purpose, but this would have required manpower that the Rangers needed to keep patrolling the wasteful remnants of Base Cochise's cyborg army and Finster's monstrosities. While those threats were averted, the mark they left on the Wasteland has not entirely faded. And so, with their greatest dangers past, the Rangers are now a strong and well-respected force in Arizona, fully capable of fulfilling their promise to their fellow survivors of the apocalypse that they will be ever vigilant defenders of the waste and strive with hearts, minds and strength of arms to bring about a new and better era of human civilization. Afterward, I undertook the task of writing an accurate history of the Desert Rangers due to an incurable fascination with history. While much historical writing survived the apocalypse, it pains me to think how much human accomplishment from that point onwards has not been written down and could easily be forgotten. That being said, though I did my best, I perhaps underestimated the difficulty inherent in historical writing and dare not claim every word in this book is true, but only that it is the most accurate history of the Wasteland I could construct. The problem with history is it's being written by the victors, or at least the survivors. Okay. Yes, interruptions, yes, I can help you. This guy can heal. Goddamn bulls don't do cops. This man must be the Ranger's doctor, judging by the tools he's carrying around, and he walks the room attending to his patients but frequently stops to catch his breath. You can see tattoos running along his neck and arms, though you can only catch a glimpse of the latter when he reaches up to cover his mouth during a coughing fit. Sergeant Dr. Eric Tylerman. Oh, new gasp recruits. Hurt, need supplies or just snooping? Yes, just looking around. Yes, we need to be fixed up. Alright, then line up and let me have a look. Nice. Heals. Done anything else? Yes, looking around. Well, don't stay out till you're sick. No, looky lose. We need to stock up. Then have a look, but it ain't free, gotta pay. Okay. Ooh. +1 leadership. Stuffed miniature dog. For 180. Might come back to that. Want better weapons and stuff as well. You're taking pills, Doc? What's G? Can't a sick man take hack pills? What's wrong with you? Anything we can do to help? Not unless you got a cure for gasp lung cancer on you. Ha ha ha. Hack. Before the apocalypse, I could have had the chemotherapy, the trial healing crystals. Now all I can do is take pain pills and wait for the end. And the effing pills aren't working anymore. Will you take pain pills if you find them? What if you found a cure? Ha, what a comedian. There is no cure, not for 150 goddamn years. Not unless you believe those crackpots who say that Finster found one before he died. Who was Finster? Mad scientist, lived in a place called Darwin's Village. Was working on modifying humans for hostile environments. But there are rumors that he invented a lot of diseases and cures too. Bullshit, of course. And even if it wasn't, Darwin Village doesn't exist anymore. We already know the location of Darwin. Well, hot shit for you, then go get my damn cure. Will you take pain pills if you find them? Hell yes, anything and everything. I'll trade you for double for any you find. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Somehow the Rangers have managed to keep an intact M388 Davy Crockett tactical nuke in perfect shape for the last 150 years. Every part wire and actuator looks to be in working order. Do you think the warrior is live too? A bright red button blinks silently on the control panel below the launching mechanism. Yeah, Wonder if this button still works. Oops! Well, that was unfortunate. The nuke you set off in Flintlock Library might have been small, but it was enough to kill everyone inside Ranger Citadel, thus ending the Desert Rangers as an institution and a force for stability in the Waste. Oops! The end. Let's not press the red button. Why did I keep a tactical nuke in there? Toaster is in need of repairs. 12% chance. I got the spores. Can do this, Liz. 12% chance. Critical failure. This is with a level 3 toaster. Toaster repair, 12%. Critical failure. So it's about 1 in 9 chance to get it right. I might have to wait. I'll try one more. If it doesn't work, reload and leave it till later. Oh, not a critical failure. As long as it's not critical failure, we can keep going. do this list. Okay. Okay, I'll have to leave that till we've got a better chance. Let me write it down. So the ones that I'm gonna have to return back to later in the Ranger Citadel. The toaster in the museum. Steel Dawn. A plastic card with a black stripe on one side and the words Sec Past 7 written on the other. It has seen a lot of wear and tear. Computer of some kind, gently illuminating the area of dim light. Wasteland snake. Find water. Ah. So a WASD snake game. Ah, okay. Whee! Good old snake. Sweet. While the cannon has been dead for years, its parts seem to be in working order. Someone with knowledge of machines and how to repair them might be able to do with a little power flowing. Okay. Make a note of this. It's currently at 0% mechanical repair. Or if we get other NPCs with the right skills, I'll bring them here. A Red Rider carbine action 200 shot range model air rifle with a compass in the stock and a thing which tells the time. If you're not careful with it, you'll shoot your eye out of it. Gnarled wooden staff with a disturbing reddish tinge and a crust of dried gore at the business end. Just looking at it fills you with a nameless dread. Ooh. Intelligence Part 2, Memories of my time in the Rangers Part 3, History of the Rangers 1, 2 and 5. So, we read those two. Intelligence Part 2. The robots in Las Vegas sewers. Another mystery of the Vegas sewers, why these cyborgs all seem to be unique to that location. They clearly, unmistakably originated in base Cochise, but most differed from the more heavy-duty cyborgs that were found other places, such as the Slicer Dicer, the Scorpitron, the Threshing Crawler, the Steel Reaver or Silver Strangler. In general, the characteristics of the sewer cyborgs were thus: they were less capable in combat and or less functional overall. They utilized organic materials in their construction. They emulated extant life forms such as humans, crocodiles and boa constrictors, even though many of those life forms are not native to the desert region and have not been seen since the war. For this investigation we interviewed numerous Vegas citizens, including some vagrants who had moved into the now abandoned sewers, which were more easily accessible than previously assumed. An open manhole cover in an abandoned part of Vegas led directly to the sewers. General Vargas' instructions were to include any theory, no matter how wild, so from combining our personal findings and observations in the sewers and eyewitness reports from bystanders and rangers, we can offer the following possibilities. Invasion force. The most logical theory is that these robots were invasion force prepping to take over Vegas. But if so, the sewers make an odd staging area and they had taken no aggressive actions towards Vegas before the Rangers' arrival other than dismantling Max. Martian invasion force. As told to our researchers by Johnny Flatboots, one of the sewers' more colorful inhabitants, the cyborgs were a preliminary invasion force and were not really cyborgs. Instead, they were actually Martian serpioids disguised as cyborgs. Researching the remains of cyborgs cast doubts on this theory. Dumping grounds. The strange and largely inferior nature of the sewer cyborgs could point to them being early prototypes developed by Base Cochise's AI, with the sewers being used as a dumping ground for unsatisfactory experiments. A buffer force. It is entirely feasible, based on the robot force's location. They were meant as an emergency buffer against threats from the east, such as the Desert Rangers, or perhaps the mutants being spawned by Owen Finster. Programming error 1. A partial decryption of the robot's programming revealed a command to clean out all the shit in Vegas. The ambiguous wording of this command was possibly misinterpreted.